Mike Johnson, this guy, and you've done a lot on him.
Right.
Talk about theological Christian nationalism. I've been thinking about this. Is there? I know that this is counterintuitive in some ways, since like Trump is the bigger figure and Trump has all these flaws. Like, how could being tied to Mike Johnson hurt Trump? But I've started to develop a theory that I think that it could. Like in the same way that back when I was a Republican, we used to tie everybody to all your people to Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco values,
Right.
and like Mike Johnson is a Christian nationalist weirdo, and you've like leaned into this. Well, he's fucking weird, right? And it's not like nobody thinks Trump is that much of a zealot, right, on these issues. And so like I think that a lot of these young men, you talk about young black men, young white men, listening to Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, that like, kind of think it's funny to be for Trump. Is there not a way that we could start a campaign advertising to those people about how Mike Johnson is going to be inside their bedroom monitoring their porn usage if the Republicans win everything next year? Might that not be more useful at this point than going after Trump?
Well, you have to explain to people what Christian nationalists, and they say, well, James, you're a Christian, okay? You wear a flag, you're a Christian nationalist. I said, no, this is, and you got to explain who these people are. And they're everywhere, right? And it's a weird, like Jesus gave the Constitution to James Madison, and the First Amendment is only there to protect Christians. It's the deeper but they have money, and Trump gets elected, he's going to turn the government over to him. They're going to sit down and make a deal. You steal whatever you want.
Right.
Okay. You amass all the power you want, and we're going to fill the government up. And the answer is, well, that's never going to get a majority of the votes. What we know is you don't even need a majority. You really don't need, with all these multiple candidates. Remember, I'm sorry, I said Hitler got 33%. They said, well, James, you can't compare anything to Hitler. Well, I'm supposed to forget that 1933 to 1945 ever existed? There's no lessons to learn there. There's nothing to remember. We just ought to eradicate that, erase that, white it out from history. And I don't think you can do that. And the lesson is you don't need close to a majority. Look at the Supreme Court. For sure, Clarence Thomas is, I don't know, Alito, Barrett, maybe, but it's just so crazy and so few people understand it. And Johnson he's all embedded in that crazy crap. And it came through Woody Jenkins, it came through Tony Perkins, it came through Paul Pressler, a great criminal. And the more that you study it and look at it, the more you go, this sounds weird. People are going to think I'm goddamn crazy, but it's a real threat. It's a real ass threat.
On the theological, I wanted to get. I do want to get back to the NATO part and the foreign policy and do a little serious talk. But just while we're talking strategy, you went on a rant that I don't completely agree with. That basically talked about what we've been doing in countering Trump is not really working. I guess my counter to that is like, well, he hasn't won an election in 8 years, but he's still around, so it's not working as well as we'd hoped. I guess we could agree on that. And the case that you went forth is you were watching Animal House and you decided. Well, you tell the people. What have you decided we need to start doing?
So you're right, but he stays at the kind of same level. He actually went from 46 to 47 between 2016 and 2017, which is kind of the same thing. And we tried everything, we tried his policy, his hypocrisy, his criminality, his predatory attitude toward women, his deadbeat, didn't pay bills. My favorite, I got to say. So he's going to say if Russia can bomb somebody that doesn't pay their NATO bill, this guy can't pay cash with a cosigner. Okay, he didn't pay anybody in his life.
He doesn't pay his plumber. He doesn't pay anybody.
So my point is, he's at a level, but it doesn't get any worse. Actually, in the head-to-head, he's doing slightly better. And we've thrown everything at him. And so I was in Animal House, I was watching it, and they said, what's called for here is a really futile and stupid gesture. And the guy says, yeah, we just the guys to do it. And I think that by mocking him and making fun of him over a period of time, that a lot of his supporters are vested in him as this sort of flawed, sent by God, King Cyrus, King David kind of figure. And my point is King Cyrus, King David, to our knowledge, didn't have syphilis or didn't shit the diaper. So, I think that so much of this is theological. I really do think so much of his supporters, he's viewed as a somewhat theological figure as much as a political figure.
Yeah. I also liked your little bit about the multiple choice question about the last year Trump saw his dick. I appreciated that.